Hello and welcome back to my channel. My name is Hannah, this is Jar of Fireflies, and here I make videos all about my life as an Orthodox Jewish homeschooling mother of 3. And today it is Friday and we are going to be making Moroccan fish for Shabbat. Okay, so I know you guys are probably expecting another day in the life vlog today, getting ready for Shabbat, but I gotta tell you what, okay, these winter days are getting so super duper short, and with daylight savings hitting last weekend, I couldn't handle the pressure. So I just felt like it was gonna be way too much to keep trying to do day in the life vlogs every Friday, going through these super short days of winter. So I may do an occasional one, but they're not gonna be as common for at least the next couple of months until the days get a little bit longer. So instead, today I will film just one part of our Shabbat prep, which is the Moroccan fish. Now I had planned to film this last night, Thursday night, while my husband was making it, but oh my gosh, I was so tired. I think my husband was tired too. He was like, you know what, let's just do it tomorrow. So here we are. It's Friday and we're gonna make some Moroccan fish. Moroccan fish, by the way, is a very traditional Sephardi dish to have on Friday nights. My husband himself is Moroccan. His parents were born in Morocco. They lived in Morocco for centuries, his whole family. So yeah, very Moroccan heritage there. And this is a very standard dish for both Moroccan Jews and Sephardi Jews in general to have on Friday night for Shabbat. All right, so let's dive in. Okay, so to start off here, you're going to want to go ahead and gather your ingredients. You're going to want to have a bunch of garlic, which you will be peeling here in a bit. So if you have peeled garlic, great. You're also going to want to have some olive oil and some canola oil, 1 red bell pepper, about 6 or so large carrots, a good bunch of cilantro, about 3 or 4 potatoes, depending on how big they are. We like to use yellow potatoes, those golden potatoes, but anyone will do. 1 large bunch of cilantro, and you're going to want a bunch of spices. We use paprika, cumin, salt, turmeric, crushed chili, and we also use chickpeas, which you can just use a can of chickpeas, doesn't have to be fresh from scratch. And then you will of course need your fish. You can really use probably any kind of fish you want to in this. My husband prefers to use tilapia. I vastly prefer to use salmon, so we generally will make ours with a mix of both tilapia and salmon. It's no problem to mix fishes in there, but yeah, I like it with the salmon a lot better. Okay, so now that we have all those ingredients here together, we can get started. So the first thing you're going to want to do is to peel your carrots and of course chop off those ends there so that they are ready for later. We're just going to set those aside once they are prepared for now. Next, grab those potatoes and go ahead and peel those. My husband likes to soak them in a bowl of water. Not totally sure why. Probably has something to do with starch. I don't totally know. If you know, put it in the comments. Let us all know. I did forget to ask him while we were filming this, but yeah, he just peels those and sets them in a bowl of water for now. And then again, setting those aside till we are ready. Next, you're going to want to grab your garlic and go ahead and peel that and set that aside. If you have already peeled garlic, then you don't have to do this step. We ended up with about 7 large garlic cloves for this. Those garlic cloves are peeled. Use the flat end of your knife to smash them to open up the flavor. And then once that was done, we also go ahead and chop that up, just coarsely chop it. We're not trying to like mince it or anything or turn it into a paste. Just chop it up into small pieces. And then once that is ready, you can bring that garlic only over to your pan. We use a shallow pan, it's maybe 3-4 inches deep, but it's pretty wide bottom. And then add in your oil. So this is a mixture of canola and olive oil, about 1/4 cup. Turn the heat on low on that pan, and then you can come back over and go ahead and start preparing your other vegetables. So taking the carrots, just cutting them into even pieces. So about 2 bites or so each, maybe 3 bites. He likes to cut them at a diagonal. It's not necessarily necessary, but that does help it to be more even overall. And then all of your carrots will cook more evenly. Next, grab your potatoes and go ahead and start slicing those up. So he's slicing them in half and then about 2 more times. So they end up some fairly decent sized chunks, not bite size, because we don't want them to be so small that they will fall apart during the cooking process. But you don't want them to be so big that you have like these humongous pieces of potatoes in your fish either. Next, grab your red bell pepper, make sure it's nice and clean, and then you can start chopping that as well. So the way that my husband does it is just a slice around the core and then make long slices with the sections that he's just cut off of the core. After you have all of your vegetables prepared, you can bring them over by your pot so that you can add them in with your garlic and your oil. Now, right before you add your vegetables in, you're also going to want to change your heat up to high heat. Okay, so now we've got our bowl of vegetables, bringing it back over here to the pot and just add those vegetables into your pot and go ahead and give that a stir so that they get kind of coated with that garlicky oil that you had on there so far. And now we can start adding in the spices. So first up is paprika. You're going to want to add about 3 tablespoons of paprika. Now for the turmeric, about 1 teaspoon of turmeric. And just know that none of this has to be super exact, so. For the crushed chilies, it's about 1 teaspoon that we're going to add into that pot. And again, for the cumin, about 1 teaspoon of that as well. And then now for the salt, about 2 tablespoons or so. You could do a little bit more. If you're doing a lot of potatoes, then you're going to want to add a little bit more salt. But if you don't have a lot of potatoes, then yeah, about 2 tablespoons of salt. And now at this point, you want to go ahead and stir this all together, get all those potatoes and vegetables all coated with those spices and oil. Just get it all mixed in there really well. Okay, now you can bring your chickpeas over and add those. If they're from a can, make sure you have rinsed them. I personally don't care for chickpeas in the Moroccan fish. This is definitely not something that we do every single time, but my husband does tend to like the chickpeas, so we do it very often. But it's not necessary. Okay, now back over to your cilantro. You've got your big bunch of cilantro all fresh and clean. Go ahead and start chopping that up, stems and all, like the whole shebang. Chop it all up kind of coarsely, like not too super fine, but you do want to get it good and chopped. You don't want to have like big pieces of stem or huge leaves or anything going on. Right, once you've got that all chopped up, you're going to add about 2 handfuls of the cilantro here into your vegetable oil garlic spice mixture on the stove. The heat is still on high, by the way. And as you get that in there, again, just mix that all really well in there into your pot with all of your ingredients. Okay, so now that that's all mixed up really well, you can go ahead and add in some water. This pitcher that we are using holds about 4 cups of water that we're putting in, but the important thing is about how high it is in your pot. You want your water to be about halfway up the side of your pot. So that's going to be a couple inches there, and it should cover up all of the ingredients that you've got in there as well. So give that just a little stir, get it kind of mixed in there a bit, add your lid onto your pot and just let that simmer over there, or kind of boil-ish. You know, it's going to be on a higher heat, but just let that go there while you come back over here to prepare your fish. Okay, so if you are like me and you like salmon, which is a fishier fish than, say, tilapia is, like my husband likes, then you'll want to go ahead and get a bowl of water and put some ice in it like my husband is doing here. And then after you have cut your fish and gotten it prepared, then you'll add your fish slices into that water along with some lemon juice, and that will help draw out any of that like fishiness to the flavor of the fish, and you'll just be left with the delicious flavor of the salmon. We do not do this with our tilapia. With the tilapia, we just rinse it and then cut it and it's good to go. But the tilapia doesn't have that stronger flavor the way that salmon does. Okay, so as far as preparing the fish goes, remove any skins that you have on your fish, trim off any parts that, they have that kind of like gray, like I guess fatty area kind of in the middle. So make sure that you remove that and go ahead and cut your fish into serving sizes. So we'll take a little fillet of salmon here like this, and we'll usually cut it into about 3 pieces. So once that is cut up into our serving pieces, like I said, he is putting that fish into the ice water, and then he is going to add some fresh lemon, which I will hand him shortly. My husband is very adamant that fresh lemon must be used, but if you have lemon that is in a container that you have purchased from the store, that should work fine, at least in my experience. Okay, so I had to leave this part in of my husband cleaning up after himself here while he is in the middle of cooking, because so many of you have seen my other videos where you see me doing a ton of cleanup here on Fridays, especially cleanup after my husband has been cooking. But I had to show you that yes, my husband does in fact do some cleanup on his own, but I tell him all the time just to leave it for me, that I'll take care of it, because hey, he has done all the cooking and he is an amazing cook, and that is awesome too. Okay, so once he's gotten things all cleaned up, he is ready to get back to work. So here my husband is starting to prepare the tilapia, which is what he prefers to eat and what some of my kids prefer to eat. At least one of my kids prefers to eat salmon with me. One of them is hit or miss, and one of them is tilapia, team tilapia. So we purchase our tilapia at Costco, and so it comes in these individually wrapped packages. And so what we do is we just open them up, rinse them off, and then we just cut them into our serving size pieces. And so I think we get like 4 slices per tilapia loin. Yeah, that looks about right. Also, let's take a moment to appreciate my husband's apron here. He ordered this off Amazon, and someone pointed out that this has to do with a television show about cooking meth. So we found that to be wildly hilarious because we have not seen said television show. But I thought it was pretty funny, and I thought I'd point that out. So if any of y'all have seen that show, you might be giggling at this. Anyhow, okay, so back over to the pot. We've had that on high heat, so we've got a solid bubble going on over here with the fish. That sauce is starting to thicken. It's thickening both because it is reducing, as you can see that the liquid level has gone down, as well as the fact that the starch from the potatoes is helping it thicken up as well. So when we're adding the fish, what we do is we kind of use our spoon, make a little spot for it there amongst the vegetables and things, and then we'll use the spoon also to kind of push it down into the pot. We want it like in there. We don't just want the fish to be on top or resting on top of everything that we've already got in the pot. We want everything in there together. So again, you can see that we're mixing our 2 different kinds of fish together. It's totally fine. You don't need to make 2 separate pots of this if you wanted to use 2 different kinds of fish. You can see here that the sauce is still pretty watery. It's not really coating the fish or anything like that. We are going to put the sauce on top of the fish so that these flavors get all into everything, but you can see the sauce is definitely not as thick as we want it to yet. It's definitely not ready. Okay, so we have still got that onto the high heat, and we're just going to let this boil until the sauce reduces about 35 minutes. So you'll notice my husband is picking up the pot and kind of tilting it around a lot and sort of shaking it. That is so that nothing is sticking to the bottom of the pot while we're cooking. So he does this quite a bit. It's better than stirring because you could be stirring and you could start breaking up the pieces of fish as it's cooking or breaking up some of those vegetables, and you might just end up with sort of more of a fish stew than an actual like Moroccan fish dish. Okay, so now we're just adding that remaining cilantro that we have left. And again, we're keeping this on high heat while we just let that cook. And that sauce will get thicker and thicker, and then it will be ready to go.
So normally at that point I'm done. And I will go just right before Shabbat, we kind of finish it. Get it like that nice thick sauce, but technically it's done. I just like to add that few more minutes before Shabbat, so it's nice and hot and fresh, and just no, I mean just to have it more.
Cut. So that's done.
Just a second. Now, yeah, you see how this sauce kind of thick and stay on the fish? Mm-hmm. That's what you want. You don't want water as a sauce. And now, at the end, we'll fry it up. We'll add some fresh cilantro, so we'll give it like nice fresh flavor. And voila.
All right, so there you go. That is our Moroccan fish. I hope that you enjoyed my husband's debut here on my YouTube channel. I guess his official debut with speaking parts and everything, more than just walking by in the background or something like that. But anyways, I'm glad he was willing to do this for us. So I hope that you enjoyed that. I do hope that you will try to make this Moroccan fish on your own. If you do, please, please, please let me know in the comments how that turned out for you and how you enjoyed it. I would absolutely love to hear, especially if you use another kind of fish. I'd love to hear that too. Oh, let me show you the fish, like the completed dish on a plate. Here you go. Okay, there it is on a plate. Okay, so anyways, that is today's video. I do hope that you enjoyed. I can't wait to hear how this turns out for you. Please give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it. It is a tiny thing, but it helps my channel out so very much. And it helps me know what kinds of videos you guys like to see. Also, please hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. I would love to see you here again. I post new videos every Monday and Thursday, all about my life here as an Orthodox Jewish homeschooling mother of 3, like I said there in the beginning. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and close this video here. I hope you all have a fabulous rest of your day, and I will see you in my next upload. Potato, for B-roll. I know you're not in the film industry like I am.
What's that? That's fun.
All right, so that's it.
The pressure is the pressure.